What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to this prediction or preview video. For this one we will be focusing on the FA Cup final, which will be taking place this Saturday on the 25th of May. And what a treat it will be as it serves up a Manchester derby. Once again, Manchester City and Manchester United going head to head for some silverware at Wembley. The last time we got a Manchester derby was on the 3rd of March. It was played at the Etihad Stadium, and it was a Premier League match. It was, however, the away side Manchester United who opened the scoring in the 8th minute after Marcus Rashford combines well with Bruno Fernandes and just rockets the ball past goalkeeper Ederson, leaving him absolutely no chance. Manchester City tried and tried to get their equalizer right through the first half, but it was only in the second half, in the 56th minute, when the Citizens were rewarded for all of their pressure, and Phil Foden is able to shimmy past the defender and rocket the ball past Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana. City then got their noses in front in the 80th minute after once again Phil Foden, this time combining well in Manchester United's box and finding a finish from a tight angle. And City then put the icing on the cake when in the first minute of injury time, Sofyan Amrabat is caught with possession at the back and Erling Haaland is able to capitalize and slots the ball past the keeper. Manchester City winning 3-1 on the day. For Manchester United, they were left scratching their heads wondering how it was a repeat of one of those performances where they found themselves ahead and then just let it slip. While for City, they were flying high, ready to mount a genuine title charge, which eventually did pay off for them. But they knew that the confidence they got from a win in this Manchester derby was invaluable. We start off our team analysis with Manchester City. Now, defending champions City have ended their last 5 fixtures with 5 wins. Their last match was a 3-1 win in the English Premier League at home against West Ham United. In their last 5 fixtures, Manchester City have scored 16 goals and conceded just 2. In the process, they've managed to keep 3 clean sheets, which is just fantastic. I think obviously a man that we have to accredit with City's high goal output has got to be Erling Haaland. With 38 goals this season and 6 assists, Haaland was brought in to get goals, and getting goals is exactly what Erling Haaland does for the side. He knows that there's so many players in the squad who can create chances for him, and he just needs to make sure he's there to top things off. He functions kind of like a Didier Drogba or a Zlatan Ibrahimovic in Guardiola's system, not doing too much work on the ball, but making sure that his positioning off it is perfect, so that when he does get the ball in his feet, he's able to convert it into a good goal-scoring opportunity. Speaking of good goal-scoring opportunities, I think the man creating them for Manchester City will probably be Phil Foden, with 27 goals and 11 assists. Phil Foden is such a good player. He's so flexible, able to play in so many different positions, able to pass, dribble, take shots, create opportunities. I think wherever Phil Foden is playing, there's always action on the pitch. And he's always a player for Manchester City who just creates so much. In actual fact, I think Phil Foden is one of, if not the best player that Pep Guardiola has at his disposal. And finally, I want to talk Guardiola. Now, Guardiola has 5 goals and 3 assists this season, and he's gotten those goals by playing left back. Usually, we see defenders get goals from set pieces, free kicks and corners and the like. But Guardiola has proven that he's not just a left back, he's not just a defender. He can play kind of like a midfielder as well, and that's how he's gotten some of those goals. By playing quick, intricate passing, getting good finishes, and just proving that he too has so much flexibility and adaptability in his game. Okay, on to the other half of Manchester, the red half. For Manchester United, the last 5 fixtures have ended in 2 wins, 2 losses and a single draw. Their last match was thankfully a 2-0 win away at Brighton and Hove Albion in the English Premier League. In these last 5 fixtures, Manchester United have scored 6 goals but conceded 8, keeping just a single clean sheet in the process. The first player I'd like to talk about in terms of Manchester United has got to be Rasmus Højlund with 16 goals and 2 assists. Højlund is supposed to be the man getting all the goals at Manchester United, but right now we can see already from those figures, he's not really converting chances, and I don't think that's entirely his fault. At times I see Manchester United playing around Rasmus Højlund as opposed to playing with him. Now, I think it works for Manchester City with Erling Haaland because they've just got creativity everywhere. But with Manchester United, it's kind of pockets of creativity, and it sometimes doesn't always work out for them. And I think that's why we see Højlund not getting the numbers that he supposedly should be getting. Next up, I want to talk Bruno Fernandes with 15 goals and 12 assists. Bruno Fernandes has been the creative force behind Manchester United. He plays in that number 10 playmaker role. He's supposed to be distributing the ball. He's supposed to be the brain making everything work at Manchester United. I don't think he's done that to the best of his ability this season. I think the amount of goals he's gotten has obviously flattered him. And I think it's easy to forget that most of those goals, or at least a large portion of them, come from penalties and set pieces. I think because maybe Manchester United are not as mobile as they need to be, it leaves Bruno Fernandes sometimes stranded with the ball, not able to play it to other players, not able to unlock defenses, because there aren't as many players making runs off the ball. But I think individually, he does have some fantastic quality. I think he can turn a match on its head if he's feeling it on the day. And finally, I want to talk Casemiro with 5 goals and 3 assists. Casemiro is supposed to be the holding midfielder at Manchester United, kind of anchoring their midfield and just distributing the ball everywhere where it's needed. But in recent weeks, he's come under heavy fire for perhaps not lacking composure, and I don't think that's entirely his fault. I think it also is very easy for people to forget that Casemiro plays as a midfielder, and over the recent weeks, he's had to adapt and play as a centre-back. Okay, on to the head-to-head in the S3M2 Verdict. Now, the last 5 Manchester derbies have ended with 4 wins for Manchester City and just a single win for Manchester United. In these last 5 showdowns between the two sides, Manchester City have scored 15 goals and United have scored 7. Interestingly, in all of those fixtures, Manchester City have found the back of the net. So that shows us that already Manchester United have the deck stacked heavily against them. They struggle to deal with City's pressure, they struggle to see matches out over the finish line, and I think that just shows a lack of mental strength in Erik ten Hag's side. This is a repeat of the 2023 FA Cup final, which was also played between these two sides. It was a match where City ended up winning 2-1 en route to being treble winners last season, but it was also a match where the Citizens were inspired by their captain, İlkay Gündoğan, who put in a 5-star performance and scored both of Manchester City's goals. They don't have İlkay Gündoğan at their disposal, but I think Manchester City are now a more dynamic squad. I think you see them moving around a lot more off the ball, as opposed to being patient and sitting in deep. Manchester United, however, have the opposite problem. They are too patient. They don't move off the ball at all. You usually see 1 or 2 players making a run, but they never really get picked out, and it's created a situation where players no longer feel motivated to make those runs because they're not really getting rewarded for doing so. Right now, United look very, very unstable at the back. This is due to recurring injuries to players like Harry Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane and Luke Shaw. So it's created a situation where at centre-back, Manchester United don't have a stable partnership. And that's why we see a player like Casemiro shifted deeper back into that defensive line. What it does as well is it creates an opening in their midfield, and usually you'd expect to see Scott McTominay fill that role. But McTominay also is a bit of a doubt for this match, and Manchester United have proven to be heavily dependent on him. He comes off the bench, he gets either an assist, he scores an equalizer or a winning goal for them, and knowing that he isn't available for them is definitely going to do some psychological damage. I think Casemiro as well, coming under heavy fire, is just a little bit unfair because he's playing in a role that he's not used to playing in. When you look at Manchester City, however, everybody is playing at their peak right now. Everybody's firing on all cylinders, everybody's looking confident, they get goals from everywhere, they get pressure from everywhere. Manchester City can play patient and just break you down slowly, or they can hit you quickly on the counter-attack because players like Julian Alvarez, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish and Bernardo Silva have enough pace to beat players in 1v1 situations. Manchester City are also currently flying high, having won the Premier League for the 4th season in a row, so they've made it kind of their trophy right now. Manchester City, I think, also just look like a well-oiled machine. I think it's very difficult to break them down, and that is evidenced by the 3 clean sheets that they have in their last 5 fixtures. I don't think City have too much of a problem with this fixture. I think City end up scoring here. I think United end up maybe getting 1 or 2 on the counter, but I don't think it's enough. I think Manchester City have just enough grit, enough determination, enough of a psychological edge over this Manchester United team that just looks so fragile. You look at City, and if they concede a goal, they're ready to fight to win the match. You look at United, and even when they're ahead, they still look fragile. That as well is evidenced by their 3-3 draw against Galatasaray in the Champions League earlier this season. I think that is just going to be something that plays against Manchester United, because effectively Erik ten Hag's side are not just playing against Manchester City here. It feels kind of like they're playing against themselves as well. When you look at Manchester City, everybody's got faith in one another. Players are confident of their teammates making runs off the ball. When you look at Manchester United, players no longer have confidence in themselves, they no longer have confidence in each other, and they definitely have no confidence in their coach and his game plan. I think it's not a walk in the park for Manchester City, but I think it is a formality en route to a domestic double. Hi, thank you for making it to the end of this video. We really appreciate the watch time and the fact that you took some time out of your day to spend it with us talking about the sport that we all love. If you enjoyed the content, why not, drop a like down below or comment in the comment section. Maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. And I mean, while you are here right now, have a look at some of our old videos too. They should be appearing on the screen right now, along with that subscribe button, so you know exactly what to do. Thank you so much, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and have a great day out there, and we hope to see you again very, very soon. Thanks, stay safe.